All right. Welcome to Rich Conversations. This is going to be a lovely episode. I am joined by Mariana.
Hi.
How do you say your last name?
Narváez.
See, I have a really hard time doing the rolls and stuff.
Yeah, like the R's.
I'm embarrassed, yeah.
It's fine. It's a really hard last name. It's not like a common last name in Mexico, so.
Okay. Fair enough. Well, why don't you briefly introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Mariana. I'm an author, a writer, and a novelist. I live in Mexico City. I'm from Chiapas. That's in the south of Mexico. And I've been living in Mexico City for 9 years. And I love it. So love it.
Yeah, I love it too. I've only been here like a week and it's regenerative, I would say.
You should move here.
That's not on my mind. We were talking off camera about what I love to do most here, and it's simply just walking among the green and the warm weather. It's fantastic.
I feel like people, when they imagine Mexico City, they feel like they can't walk all over Mexico City, and it's a really walkable city. You can walk everywhere. So
yeah.
I really like that about Mexico City.
Yeah. Yeah, if you were to describe Mexico City, like an impression of Mexico City, what would you say?
I feel like it's many cities in one. Like you can walk from one neighborhood to another and they're so different from each other. So it's like a lot of puzzle pieces put together. And it's really magical. I feel like it's really magical. Some people describe it as surreal, but I feel like more like realism magical. Because, I don't know, you can walk around a corner and see something that you wouldn't expect. And this time of the year, it's really nice because of the jacaranda trees. So, yeah, it's my favorite time of the year in Mexico City.
Oh, this is a great time to be here then.
Yeah.
We're actually recording, right behind the camera is railroad ties. We have it's not an abandoned railroad, it's just it's not used anymore, it looks like. And then there's trees that line it, and it's what's the name of it?
Jacaranda? The trees?
Yeah.
Jacaranda.
They're like these purplish, pinkish flowers? Leaves?
Flowers, yeah.
Flowers.
The story is that a Japanese landscaper brought the trees from Japan because he wanted to put, not from Japan, from Brazil, but he wanted to put cherry trees. But the weather from Mexico City wouldn't allow the cherry trees to grow. So he picked the jacaranda trees instead. Yeah, and they're all over the city and it's lovely.
Well, how come the cherry trees wouldn't work?
I think Mexico City is not that cold. Like, they will die because it's really hot. So that's why they chose a tropical tree, I think.
That makes sense. I'm usually on the other end of coming from the Midwest. It's like plants don't survive because it's too cold.
Yeah.
Huh. What would you say the people of Mexico City, what characteristics would you say they share?
I feel like they're really friendly. When I moved here, they were really welcoming because it's a city with such a diverse population that you can fit in everywhere, like you can find your crew, your tribe, and you won't feel like left outside. So I feel like it's a really welcoming city because it's so diverse.
I see that.
Yeah.
People seem to be cheerful.
Yeah, I feel like I read an article once a week ago that Mexico is one of the happiest countries in the world. So yeah, we're happy.
There's got to be a correlation with this weather.
With the weather, yeah. I feel like that's true.
This is really good coffee, by the way. I've been, when I've gone to coffee shops here in Mexico City, the espresso has been outstanding.
It's really good coffee. We have really good coffee because the producers, where I'm from, Chiapas, it's one of the major producers of coffee in the country.
Do a lot of the coffee shops use local coffee beans?
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Okay.
really rare that they use coffee from another country. They're like special editions, but mostly it's Mexican coffee.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. We're proud of our coffee.
I've never seen as many coffee shops.
So much to pick. Yeah. Like you walk 2 blocks and there's a coffee shop and there's another coffee shop and yeah, so many options. But they're different between each other. Maybe some are prettier and some are quieter. It depends what you want. This one from Museo Jumex, it's really nice because it's next to the museum, so I feel like the atmosphere, it's nice and you can feel like you're not in the city because it has like a lot of plants and I don't know, I like it a lot.
Yeah, we went to Eno. So people drink a lot of coffee here?
Yeah, we drink a lot of coffee. And I feel like there's a lot of, this one is called café de olla, that it's coffee with cinnamon and a little bit of brown sugar and other
That's what you
spices.
ordered?
Yeah, it's my favorite coffee, so you have to try it.
What's it called?
Café de olla.
Wait, say it again.
Café, like coffee.
Café?
De olla.
De olla.
Y olla, it's like
Y olla.
pot. Olla is like a pot. So
Okay.
they make it like in this huge pot, like clay, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it picks up some of those like
Yeah.
earthy tones? I went to a spot yesterday. I really enjoyed it. Like you said, there's like plants all over. This one was kind of like, I'm staying in La Condesa, so there's it seems to be a lot of nomads there.
Yeah.
And so there's like working spaces. So at this place, and I made the mistake of, I ordered an Americano rather than just like, I just like tasting the espresso. But the Americano, I didn't know how big it was. It was just like gigantic. So it was like watered down, and I don't like the watered down as much.
My dad has that problem when we go to have breakfast because he doesn't like the coffee pot coffee.
Yeah.
He likes like this espresso machine one, so it's always trouble with him. He likes his coffee strong.
Yeah, same here. At my Airbnb, I have one of those like Mr. Coffee makers, and I have some ground coffee, and I make that in the morning. But then I like go anywhere else, and it's like, oh my gosh, this tastes way better than what I drank this morning. Oh man. Okay, so you have 3 books published.
Yeah.
You're writing more. How did you first start getting into writing books?
Since I was a kid, I always liked writing. I used to write short stories for my sister, like mermaids and princesses and all that. And then at school, I had this teacher. There's always this teacher, right, that inspires you. And she made us read this book of stories by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. And I was so inspired by those stories that I started writing my own. And then I got my heart broken. So I started writing poetry for this guy. But I was too shy to share them because I thought, like, what if he reads them, or my mom reads them, or my aunt reads them? So I made an anonymous account on Instagram, and I started publishing my poems there. And then the Instagram account got a lot of engagement because people related to my poems, like, oh my God, I went through the same thing, and this same guy that broke my heart sadly did it a second time. So when he broke my heart the second time, I started writing to him and to his ghost, let's say, and I didn't realize that I was writing a novel about that experience because I wrote it in my app in my iPhone. I like the notes. And
just the basic notes app.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I realized that I had like a novel, a 300 pages novel. So
You wrote 300 pages in your notes app?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I still got the note because that was like, oh my god.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But it's so handy because you always have your phone with you.
It is.
So.
It is, I know. I try to take these, not to get off subject, I try to take these little pocket notebooks around.
Yeah, I have notebooks too, but sometimes you're like in the subway, you know, like you don't have where to write with your pen and paper, so just in the notes from your iPhone, so it's easier. But yeah, I was afraid that my iPhone was going to betray me and delete the note. That would be so tragic.
Did you back it up anywhere?
In my laptop, but I don't trust. Like.
So you don't trust your phone or your laptop?
Yeah, no. But it worked out in the end. Yeah.
The nice thing about the Notes app is that it's already in electronic form or like typed form.
Yeah, like you just copy and paste.
Because like when I do like physical notebooks, I have to retype them.
And then you don't remember what you wrote, right?
Yeah.
Like your
context.
lettering was so ugly that you don't remember what you wrote. And I was like, what I was thinking writing this? But yeah.
So what came first? So you were writing poetry.
Yeah.
Putting it on Instagram, and then you just kept writing kind of this poetry, and it turned into a novel.
Yeah.
And then the novel came out, and then children's book came next.
Yeah. Well, the children's book was a gift for my niece, a Christmas gift. I have 4 nieces, and I wanted to make something for her. I tried to be like the cool aunt, the creative aunt. So she was all into dinosaurs and pizza. So this book is about a dinosaur that eats pizza.
Nice.
Yeah. And I wrote it and drew the illustrations, and I did it as a gift. And then I thought, well, I already did the book, so why don't publish it? And I published it in October last year. And so I'm trying to do another one for my next niece, each for one. And I don't know, I like to draw. It's like a different creative process that sometimes it's relaxing. But I'm such a perfectionist that I don't like to draw on paper because you have to erase it and it leaves a mark. So I draw on the iPad because it's easier for me to express myself. And yeah, I used to have these sketchbooks when I traveled. When I went to Barcelona, I had a sketchbook where I drew all these mosaics and Gaudi and all that. But I have to return to paper sometime. Yeah.
So again, the like tech is just easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm so against tech sometimes. It's like go around and see the sunlight, you know, like stop using your iPhone so much. But sometimes I like to call it like necessary evil, you know, like if it weren't for social media, my poems wouldn't be out there, like inspiring people. So I don't know, you have to balance it.
Mm-hmm. From what I've gathered of you, you're a very like thoughtful and intentional person.
Yeah.
From the way you dress to the photos you take to the drawings that you do.
Yeah, I feel like everything is a statement and a sign. So I'm all into what does like giving a meaning to everything, you know, like being that person that gives a meaning to everything. And you have to create like a character for yourself because that's what people will remember about you, you know? Like you can be a writer, like a basic writer, and everyone will forget about you, but the way you dress, what you publish, what you say, how you treat people, it's what people will remember.
You have a very distinct, it's memorable, I would say, you know? How did you get to that mindset or like that kind of perspective?
Well, I think that at the beginning, like I told you, I was very shy. I didn't like people relating me to my poetry because I thought it was like a little bit corny and I don't know. But then I went to therapy and I learned to be myself and to express myself and to dress like I wanted to dress, no matter who was like watching me or judging me. So yeah, I'm trying to be like my honest self all the time.
And so therapy was really helpful in that.
Yeah, because the heartbreak that I told you about was before therapy, and I was like a really, I don't know, I used to have these relationships that were so dramatic. Like for writing purposes, they were perfect, but for yeah,
Great material.
great material. But for myself, they were really like energy drowning, and I went to therapy. I worked on myself. I was insecure about publishing this novel, and I think that it helped talking about it with my therapist. Like, you should do it because of you, not because everyone else says you have to do it, right? So yeah, it was a really helpful time of my life.
So you develop this kind of like thought process of expression. It could have been in Mexico City this week, or it was in Chicago the day before I took a flight here. But I saw a sign that's had a sticker on it or some graffiti that said, "Not every sign is a sign."
Oh, good sign.
So if you're coming from a perspective of like, you know, everything can be intentional and be used to express oneself, someone from the outside could feel that being exhausting. Do you ever feel that way, or is that?
Yeah.
Or what would you say to that person?
I sometimes try to let go of so much pressure and so much like symbolism because it's exhausting. I used to publish at an exact time because I used to say it was a sign, but slowly I let go of that because it's so exhausting, like all the time being conscious of where you walk, where you put your next step, right? So I'm a really methodic person, and I am so organized, like in everything, traveling, and sometimes like my boyfriend, he's like the kind of guy who says live in the moment, right? Like he buys his plane ticket a day before the trip.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and it's so stressful, but I've started to learn that you need to balance that, right? And let life surprise you from time to time.
Huh. Would you say there's a difference between a writer and an author?
Yeah, I think everyone can be a writer. Like maybe we all are writers, right? Because we are constantly writing even an Instagram post. But an author is like the person who dares to publish it, to make it public.
Okay.
I think. So you have to be brave to be an author.
See, that's where I'm kind of like shifting, is like going from identifying myself as a writer and shifting towards author. Because like you said, like writing, like I write every single day. I write all the time. But so could anybody else. The author gives it a little bit more oomph to it, right?
Yeah. Those who there are authors. Like you have to be brave. You have to put yourself out there and share with people, I think, because you can't be an author without a community, right? Like,
okay.
I feel like your novel or your poetry book is dead until someone reads it. Like a book can be in a bookshop for a long time, and what happens if no one picks it up or reads it, right? It's like the analogy of the tree that falls in the forest. Does it really exist? I don't know.
Now we're getting philosophical. Philosophico?
Yeah.
Is that Spanish? What's the Spanish word for philosophical?
Filosófico.
Philosophical.
Similar.
But then what? But if you're an author, isn't it like putting it out there? That's the brave part?
I think so, because like for me, I had the manuscript for the novel ready, and for a couple months I didn't know what to do with it, because I was like, what now, right? I wrote it, but now should I publish it? Just leave it in a drawer? And I used to think that just really good writers and authors were published by editorials, but my novel was published independently, so I took the step and said, like, I don't want to wait for someone to discover me. I want to publish myself and to put myself out there and see what happens. So I did.
Yeah, I like that approach. Especially, I think the publishing industry and traditional publishers are just slow, not hungry. They don't take risks. They just kind of like poach what has worked.
Yeah.
Like now it seems like the model is put your stuff out there, grow a fan base, and then they poach those individuals or those stories or whatever.
And right now in Mexico, there is like a boom of independent bookshops, editorials, authors. So I think it's a really nice place to publish yourself, because you will feel welcome.
Yeah. I've noticed a lot of bookstores. I just get intimidated because I can't read it. Even yours, like I'm looking through at your books and I'm like, I don't know what this says. But yeah, I wrote a novel recently, and I got raked over the coals by my editors, and then I was like stunned for like 3 days.
Okay.
Just like I spent every morning writing that for months, and now I'll have to like start from scratch again.
Oh my God.
But it's also invigorating at the same time, because like that's why they were there, you know. It's like to
I had that
make it better.
same moment, because I hired an independent editor. And you feel like your novel is perfect, right? Because I wrote it, so it's perfect. So then she read it and she was like, you're missing something here, you need to write something here, this doesn't work. So it's like you have to be humble.
Oh yeah, and it can be humbling.
Yeah.
It's a certain personality, like the editors. I think they get a lot of joy in critiquing and like judging and stuff. Do you have any? Are there any authors out there that have inspired you, or other artists that have inspired you?
Yeah, there's this author. Her name is Sofia Segovia. She is a Mexican writer, and she has this novel that you can read because it has an English edition, and it's so, I don't know, so magical. And the way she writes is like magic realism, and she's from the same college that I went to, the same university. So it's so inspiring. It's inspiring to see where she is now. Like it's like I want to be her, right?
Yeah, and you're following in those footsteps.
Yeah.
What's the book about?
It's about a town in northern Mexico where this little boy appears, and no one knows where this boy came from. And he can, like, I don't say talk, but he's really good with bees. And a lot of mysterious things happen around this boy. So the story is about how the family adopts this boy, and he grows up to be a man, and what happens in town. And there's always this evil guy who wants to, like, do something to the little boy. So it's nice, and I think it's a nice way to approach, to learn a little bit more about Mexico through writing to literature. So yeah.
Awesome. I want to go back to the children's books that you're writing.
Okay.
And how you're writing each one for a niece.
Yeah.
You said you have 4 nieces?
4 nieces and counting, so I better hurry up.
Yeah, you got you got a lot going on. And the one that you did put out was based on their interests, dinosaurs and pizza.
Yeah.
What do you just take kind of like an essence of what are they most interested in, and then I'm going to explore that? Or
Yeah, well, for the second one, I'm more I took more of her personality, like more like she is so active, and she's not like quiet anytime. So I wrote a story about a little girl that dreams about the ocean. And she wakes up and knows she has to go and find something. So it's like a like a story about the girl sailing in the ocean and finding all these creatures. And yeah, it started because I was drawing marine animals. I don't know why I like to draw them, like the whales. And then I had a couple of these drawings, and I said, like, I want to do a story about this, but how can I relate it to her, right? Because she's like the main character of the story. So I created this character of the little girl who follows her dream, literally.
That's awesome. Are you able to, like, can you only focus on one book at a time, or are you able to like compartmentalize, and then like for the third niece I'm thinking this or that?
I struggle to focus on just one project. I like to have like different projects going around, and sometimes it can be hard because I'm doing this project and I'm already thinking the next one, so I have like all these ideas going around. And like right now I'm thinking about that book, and then the second novel, and then another poetry book, and then some merch with poetry. So yeah, I have a lot going around.
I think we're very similar in that sense. We're like, a lot of people will point out to authors and they want you to just stick in this lane. Oh, you're either a novelist, or you're a children's book author, or you're a poet. But I like to explore like all facets and explore ideas through the form that is most appropriate to that idea.
Yeah.
But I feel kind of similar to that, where I got all these things kind of like all over the place. How do you focus on like getting them done? Like, what is that process like?
I try to have a calendar, so I have like due dates, because like for the novel, for example, if I put myself a due date for the novel to finish the novel, because I knew that if I didn't put myself a final day, I would keep writing, right? Like sometimes when you have a creative project, you feel like you can change it a lot. So you need to be organized with yourself and responsible and say like, okay, this day I'm going to finish it and move on to the next part, like the production part or the edition part, because you can just keep going, right? I feel like sometimes with writing that's what happens. And so for the novel, for example, I said to myself, okay, I'm going to write for a year, and no matter what happens in my life, this day I'm going to a coffee shop, I'm going to write the final chapter, and that's it. No more writing.
Interesting. So how do you do it? So you set deadlines.
Yeah.
What about the day-to-day? Like when you wake up, do you write every day?
I try to write every day, but I don't like to feel like it's a job.
Sure.
Because like for example, I used to date this guy that said like, if you want to be famous on TikTok and Instagram, you have to post like 3 times a day and upload stories and that. And I was like, I don't want to do that because it changes into a job more than real inspiration, you know. And yeah. I want to write because I like to write, and I like to share what I write, not because I must do it. So I feel like I'm a best writer when I write from inspiration rather than I have to sit down and write for an hour, because that doesn't work for me.
Do you then, I get that, do you, to make sure that the writing gets done, do you have like an idea in your mind of like every week, do you have writing goals or anything like that?
Yeah, I try to put my goals for myself. Like for example, for this second novel that I'm writing, I try to say, okay, it has to be done this date, so I have to write 2 chapters a day. Sometimes I don't get to write the 2 chapters, but having a goal helps me to just stop fooling around, because sometimes I feel like I have all this time in the world and I need to focus myself and say, okay, no, you have to finish it, because spoiler, this novel is about my grandparents.
Okay.
So it's a huge deadline, like grandparents, you know, like anything can happen to them.
That's very true.
And what happens if they don't read the novel? So that's my deadline, right?
So you're like, I need to write this.
Yeah, fast. So yeah.
Because you never know. You never know with any of us at
Yeah.
the same time. And that's what's beautiful about writing too, is you can put all your thoughts down and then it can be discovered later too.
Yeah. Like with the novel, I didn't know that I was writing a novel. I was just writing in my notes. At the beginning, I thought maybe it's just a poem or a short story. And because it was my dream to write a novel. My grandma always said to me, like, when are you going to write a novel? Like, I like your stories and I like your poetry, but you must write a novel. And I struggled a lot with like how I'm going to write 300 pages. I think it's a lot. But then this happened and it actually wrote itself, because I was writing daily, like a little bit, so it wasn't that hard.
I notice that with people. They're like, they view the novel as like, oh, you're serious now.
Yeah.
You know, like the poetry, the children's books.
Yeah, if you don't have a
art.
novel, you're not a writer.
Yeah.
You must have a novel.
Yeah. That's funny. What would you say is the difference between like writing something that is average, good, and great?
I feel like you must be open to critique.
Okay.
Because you can feel like you're a really good writer, and then someone else reads it and it's like I like it, but I don't understand it, or it's missing something. So I'm always open to critique. My sister, I always say that my sister is my main editor, because sometimes sometimes it happens that I feel like I wrote something great, and she reads it and she's like, oh, it's okay, but I feel like you can improve it, right? And I'm like, ouch, but thanks, because yeah, sometimes you need to open yourself up to people reading you, because you need this community of people that can make you be better.
That's a valuable asset to have.
Yeah.
Like a sibling that you like trust enough, or even like just like someone in general you trust enough to just give you fair feedback.
Yeah.
So critique, being open to critique.
Yeah.
That's what can jump something from good to great.
Yeah, I was in like creative literature workshops, and I remember the first time I brought a short story to the class to be read and critiqued, and I was like so mad because they destroyed it. And I was like, oh my god, I thought it was good.
Yeah.
And I realized the story didn't work, and I rewrote it and I kept going, and then I wrote a story that got published in that workshop. So yeah, you have to be open to always be learning, and don't feel like you have reached your most perfect writing.
Yeah. How would you summarize your writing process?
I feel like sometimes I wake up with this idea, and sometimes the inspiration comes fully. Like I have the idea and I know what I want to write, and I sit down and write it. And sometimes I need to wait for the idea to develop, and it can be months. I had this idea, for example, for a short story. Like the title was something to related to bugs, to fireflies. But I didn't know what the story was going to be. I just had the title. And then one day I had like all these puzzle pieces that clicked together, and the story came to life. So yeah, it's different for each project, but because sometimes I struggle with titles. Like I have all the story, and then I don't know what title to give to that story. So yeah, it's different for each project.
And it's probably different for each writer
Yeah,
and
too.
author. I feel like my titles come first, in a way. I definitely see the puzzle pieces. I'll just be like randomly doing something, and then just like this puzzle piece of the story or the book just appears,
Yeah.
and it's almost like magical, and you're like, that's it.
Yeah.
That's what I needed. And it's the space, the breathability of it, right?
Yeah, you have to be patient, because I feel like sometimes we are like with social media, we are now used to always everything being so immediate, and we have forgotten to wait. And sometimes you need to wait for this idea to improve itself. And yeah, because for example, for my second novel, I wrote a manuscript like a couple years ago, and I didn't like it. I felt like it was like the voices from my characters were so corny and so fake, and so I let that idea like marinate, and then I wrote my first novel, and now I'm going back to that first manuscript and rewrite it like from a different perspective, and I feel like it's working a lot more nice. So yeah, sometimes you need to wait and see what happens.
Now, when you're rewriting that novel, are you finding you're able to use a lot of the material that you had, or are you basically just like using it as a reference and rewriting it?
Yeah, more like a reference, because I
Okay.
felt like if I rewrote what I already had, I was going to do the same, like just change a bit. And no, I wanted a totally different perspective. And sometimes I read my first short stories, and they were a lot of this teenage love, and and I
Yeah.
read them, and I'm so embarrassed, like, oh my god.
Do you once a book is published, do you go back and reread it from time to time, or is it like in the past?
In the past,
Yeah.
yeah. Sometimes, like when I'm creating social media content, I read a page so I can make the video or the photo, but not in the entire book. Yeah, I don't know, I feel weird, like even listening myself in interviews or videos. I feel weird, I don't like it.
Do you think that's common with most artists?
Maybe we have this, like, I don't know, we don't like to put ourselves out there that I don't know, I feel it's because I feel like our work speaks for itself, right? Like,
Yeah.
you can know us better if you read us than talk with us. I don't know, like sometimes I feel like people reading my novel can know me better than some people that are in my life. I don't know. Because I was so honest, and it's like really raw material, like everything I felt, I put it in the novel. So yeah, like my mom, when she read the novel, she was so angry with me. So angry. She was like, how could you tolerate this guy? Like, because the novel is like 100% autobiographic, so she didn't know the entirety of the story until she read it. So she was like, oh my god, like, she told my boyfriend, don't read it, you're going to be so mad if you read it. Yeah, like, don't read it, it's so well written, but the story, it's so maddening,
Huh. Yeah, because as an author, you're like creating sort of a time capsule of your thoughts.
Yeah.
And it's curated, whereas like if we're hanging out here, we can just like talk, but you're not like, it's not a condensed portrait of our values or beliefs. It's more like a little bit of a puzzle piece.
Yeah, and it's a version of yourself that
Yeah.
it doesn't exist anymore, right? Because you've changed, and I feel like your writing keeps evolving while you grow up. So what you wrote when you were 16 has nothing to do with what you write right now, right? So, but it's interesting. I sometimes reread like poetry that I wrote years ago, and I'm like, who was this girl? Right, like, or
That's probably a good thing. That means you grew, right?
yeah, I keep a diary since I was 13 years old, and recently I reread some of my entries, and I'm like, who was this girl? What was going on with her?
Yeah. I don't look back at all, I would say. Like, yeah, I'll write journal entries every day in the morning, but I never read them. I take a lot of notes. I don't read them. I record a lot of podcasts. I don't listen to them. I just keep going.
I don't like to listen to myself in podcasts because I feel like weird. Like, and sometimes when you read yourself and it's like, oh, I should have written this instead, But I don't feel like that's helpful. So why look back?
What's helpful?
Like rereading my novel and say like, this phrase I could have put it different, right?
Yeah.
So I don't feel like it's helpful to look at yourself from a different perspective and try to erase that part of yourself that wrote that novel, right? Like,
yeah, it'd be unhealthy probably.
Yeah.
And then you're dwelling in the past.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I'm such a nostalgic person, so I dwell in the past a lot. I try not to be now, but yeah, I used to be.
What do you mean by that?
Like, I was so hung up in the what if. Like, what if I had done this different? Maybe if I had told this guy that I loved him, maybe he wouldn't left, and some things like that. And it was not helpful because I was living in the past. And it's helpful for your writing because being nostalgic, I feel like it's more poetic. But for myself, it wasn't helpful because I was like just struggling to move on.
Did you become more aware of that through therapy?
Yeah,
Okay.
a lot. And I feel like I learned to say goodbye. I struggled with letting go of people. And I just learned to say like, this part of my life is over and I have to move on, and this guy is not coming back, so don't dwell on what could you have been doing different to keep him in your life, right? And like the novel, for example, it started with me picking between two guys, and I used to feel like I made the wrong choice, and I regretted that choice for a long time because the other guy was like more responsible and he wanted more serious things, but this other guy was always my crush, so I was like
classic.
Yeah. And I used to feel like maybe if I had made the different choice, my life would be different, but the novel wouldn't exist. So I don't regret it anymore because I wrote a novel about it.
Life.
Yeah.
The greatest novel of all. I think about that sometimes, talking to grandparents or like just old people in general. It's like the stories you have at that age, like those are your stories. Like that's what you have. So it's important to live your life in a way that you have good stories when you're old.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to dare to sometimes make the wrong choices because those choices make the great stories, right? And
well, that's the conundrum of life, though.
Yeah.
The bad decisions make the best stories, and the good decisions make the most boring stories.
Yeah. But right now, I like boring. I feel like I'm at this time of my life that I like, because I used to say like, oh my God, healthy relationships are nice, but they're so boring, right? Because there's no drama. But I'm so sick of drama. I'm like, no, I don't like drama anymore. I like healthy relationships and love stories that are nice and they don't have this drama anymore.
How do you, when you're writing a novel about like healthy love, how do you approach that knowing that like there's less natural drama?
Like, for example, for my second novel, I'm writing my grandparents' love story.
Ooh, that's a good approach.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm trying to write their story, and I feel like that kind of love, it's so, I don't know, so beautiful. Like, because you're looking back at their life, they've been together for 60 years. So they have a lifetime together of stories. They created a family. So, yeah, I like that. But my readers don't. Like, for example, in my poetry, when I publish happy poems, they don't get that engagement that sad poems get. Yeah, I don't know. I think like we like heartbreak. I don't know. Maybe we read more poetry when we are heartbroken than when we're happy.
Yeah, or like the best art comes from a place of suffering.
Yeah.
Or destruction, or yeah. This is I'm just practicing being present right now, and listening to you talk about love stories and relationships, and then there's these flowers that are dropping. These are, what do you call them again?
Jacarandas.
Jacarandas. It's like very beautiful because I'm looking down at this like tree-lined railroad, and you're talking about love, and then there's these purple and pink flowers dropping.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Thank you for sharing all of that. Switching gears a little bit, what musical artists are you listening to recently? Like on repeat?
Okay, I have this playlist on Spotify that it's called Canciones que son poesía, songs that are poetry.
And you created this?
Yeah, I created this. Yeah,
okay.
And it's a playlist filled with Spanish-speaking artists that sing in this way that I feel like it's poetry. So I don't know. I like their lyrics, and it has artists like Kobe Quintana, Natalia Lafourcade, Alex Seger. I feel like they sing in this way that it's so poetical, and they're like telling a story with their songs. And I also like a lot right now Olivia Dean. I don't know, I like her way of singing, and it makes me feel happy when I hear her, listen to her.
Do you promote your Spotify profile with your like poetry and music? Like if you promote something on Instagram, do you also kind of use your Spotify profile?
Yeah, like
Okay.
my novel has a playlist. So when you buy my novel, it comes with a postcard, and the postcard has a QR code that goes to my Spotify playlist.
Okay.
So when you're reading the novel, you can listen to the songs that appear in the novel. And I also have this playlist that I have created with my followers, that it's songs for a sad Sunday. So when you're missing someone on a Sunday, what do you listen to? And people have been filling this playlist with their songs. So it's a very diverse playlist.
That's a good way to phrase it, like a Sunday playlist.
Yeah.
Sunday's good.
I don't
Sunday
know
has a vibe.
what's about Sundays, that they're so nostalgic, and they're so like, you start missing something. Like on Sunday afternoon, you
Yeah.
start like feeling this sadness.
I would identify it more as like a peacefulness rather than a sadness, but
Yeah.
that's where I'm coming from. What are you curious about recently?
I'm curious about, I don't know, like different artists, not just writers, but artists in general. I like to discover artists from all over the world, and I feel like this time of our life, Mexico City is filled with those kind of people. Like a lot of people are coming to Mexico City, and
Exhibit A?
yeah. And I don't know, I feel like knowing people and meeting people like different makes you inspire yourself.
Yeah.
Like there's something about each people that can become part of your characters for your novel, right? So I like to walk around and see the city, and like maybe that guy in the bike will become a scene on my novel, right? Because you need to go and put yourself out there and be inspired. You can't write just being in your house and not go around.
That's a very like author writer thing to say. Like, 'cause the job is almost to be aware of what's happening.
Yeah.
And like in the world. And unless you live in some place where there's people constantly coming and going at random, you kind of have to like be outside to find those characters.
Yeah. Like I sometimes, when I'm in the subway or walking around the city, I see an interesting person and I just write their characteristics, you know, because I'm like, oh, that's such a unique person that is just a character from a novel brought back to life. So I'm like, I must write, and maybe it will appear in my novel like a person, just a random person, but I think it enrich your novel because it makes it more real.
Totally. Okay, last question for you.
Mm-hmm.
What energizes you for the next year? Over the next year?
That I have a lot of projects going on, like writing projects, illustration projects, creative projects, and I like to be creating all the time. I like sharing. Sometimes I struggle with keeping things like silent. Like I'm so bad at surprises because I always want to share with people, and yeah, like bringing my projects to life. I think that's what excites me the most.
I love that. Mm-hmm. I want to go back though a little bit, and like working on multiple projects. Do you ever like, sometimes I'll set, like I'm so sporadic and I can't focus on one idea or like one project to focus on in this moment. Do you ever just like set a timer on your phone for like a half hour or an hour and you're like, I'm only going to do this?
Yeah, because there are projects that require more time to get done, so you have to hurry up. So like for the novel, for example, it took a year after I wrote it to be published. So if you don't focus yourself, it will never get done. And there are projects that are more playful, right? Like
Totally.
You can keep going and keep creating and it doesn't matter. So yeah, I try to make a to-do list for my daily agenda. So I like crossing things from my list. I feel more productive.
Nice. Classic.
Yeah.
Classic. That's awesome. Well, thanks for taking time out of your day and your writing schedule to
No, thank you.
Sit here with me on this beautiful day in Mexico City. What neighborhood is this?
Granada.
Okay.
It's like Polanco, but nearby Polanco.
Polanco. I feel like every time I travel to a city, like I said, I'll go for like a week and then just kind of explore at kind of like a chill pace. I'm on the go all the time, but it's like, remember when the iPhones, like these ones, we're using iPhone 8s for audio, they have the like thumbprint?
Oh yeah.
And then first when you set up the phone, it asks you for the big main one, right?
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, twist it here, contort it there to like fill in the thumbprint. And that's how I feel traveling to a place I've been before, is kind of like that. It's like filling in those nuances.
That's so nice. I like that way of putting it. Yeah, it's true. I've been to recently I went back to Victoria in Canada.
Okay.
And it was a place I used to live for 10 months. And it felt so different. I felt like I was in a different city. Like, I don't know. Every time you come back to a city, it adds up to your experience of that city. Like when you meet a person for the first time and then you keep meeting them.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Cities are like people. They're very nuanced. There's a lot going on. It's very complex. Yeah. What's your favorite technological device that you own?
Oh my God. Recently I've been into analog photography, and I have a very basic camera that I bought on Amazon, and I don't know, I like it because you never know it's going to happen to that photos. Like I've been taking photos for a month, and I don't know if they're going to come up well or like not well at all. So it's a surprise.
So this is like actual physical film.
Yeah.
Okay. What about digital device?
Oh my God. My phone and my notes. The app.
What phone do you have?
It's an iPhone 15. Because I like to take a lot of photos, so
Yeah, same.
yeah, I like to have it all the time in my hand and take photos of everything. That maybe you are never going to see that photos anymore, but I don't know, I like to capture moments.
Yeah, moments. I noticed the Apple store is right there too.
Yeah.
We're like across from the Apple store. I like this area. Is this like a more the business area?
Yeah, business area, but there are like 2 museums around. The aquarium is across the street.
Oh wow.
There's a theater. So yeah, it's nice.
Yeah. Well, thank you again for being here. I really enjoyed this conversation.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It was nice meeting you, and thank you. Welcome to Mexico City.